More than 45% of the population has experienced gender-based violence. Men, women, girls, and boys. Nobody is safe. And we're all set to end a series of conversations that were aimed at breaking the silence around gender-based violence. We live out loud with Phanis Lisiagali, who's going to tell us more about the gender-based violence hotline 1195 and what you can do to stop gender-based violence. Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Monyega. It's so great that you found our channel. Remember to hit subscribe, click on notifications, and you never get to miss an episode of the show. And we are at the glorious Westwood Hotel, all set to live out loud with Phanis Lisiagali from the Gender Violence Hotline 1195. We want to school you on what you can do to do your part towards ending gender-based violence. Phanis, thank you so much for making the time to be here.
Thank you, Sheila.
We've had a series of conversations on gender-based violence.
Right.
These are difficult conversations to have, but they're honest conversations because it's happening in our homes, in our families, and the people who are doing this are people we know, people that we love. So tell us a little bit about the journey that led to the Gender Violence Hotline.
Indeed, we have lots of problems in this country pertaining to sexual and gender-based violence. And the saddest thing is that people don't know where to report these issues. And therefore, people just in silence. They don't know how to access gender-based violence services, like where to go for an ambulance, where to go for treatment. But with now the helpline, which is the hotline, actually 1195, we are glad that women are now opening up. Men are now opening up. Girls are now telling us, you know, how they undergo the most cruel FGM, you know. They're able to tell us how they're even defiled. We pride in confidentiality, and that is one reason why women are now able to speak up through the hotline 1195.
All right.
It has been a long journey, so to speak. From 2007 and 8, when we had post-election violence in this country, that is when this hotline was born. I'm looking at a scenario where we collected data through 1195, data from 2013 to 2016. We've collected over 9,000 gender-based violence cases. And we're wondering, because they're not going down.
They're on the
And this
rise.
is the time we're saying we must end sexual and gender-based violence on women. Elections is just about to come. We don't want to see what we experienced in 2007 and 8 in this country. Sheila, God has blessed us with a beautiful land.
That is
But
true.
when people talk, or rather read about such cases where women are raped and, you know, beaten up, men are also beaten up, I mean, it's just, it doesn't just add up.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we talk about gender-based violence, I think it's very important that we define what gender-based violence is, because somebody could be watching and thinking, okay, it's only rape, it's only assault on only women and only children. But it's far bigger. It's an umbrella that covers far much more than what we've already talked about. So tell us about what constitutes gender-based violence.
Gender-based violence is affecting all of us. Men, women, children, even babies. Sheila, you wouldn't believe this. We've rescued children as young as 5 months, defiled. 1 year, 2 months, defiled. 2 years, 3 years. I mean, it's affecting all of us. So we cannot say that it's a woman's issue. It is also affecting men. We've had cases where men and their organs have been, you know, attacked as well. Yeah, their genitals are cut. Yeah, the problem I have with men.
Those are the things that show up in the news. The nation stops, watches, and we move on until the next
We also need to
episode.
protect men.
Yeah.
Because if you target a man's organ, really, what are you doing as a woman?
That is violence.
That is still violence on men. Or if you perhaps boil water and burn this man, that is still violence. So it's not just about women, you know, or even girl child. Even boys are being sodomized. We have so many cases. Recently, we had a case in Kitale where a young boy, 9 years old, was being sodomized, but he kept quiet for a very long time until a neighbor noticed. The boy was walking with difficulties. The mother was not at home because she actually divorced. So the boy was there, goes to school, can't sit properly, and his rectum was almost getting rotten. Yeah? So as we say, this is an issue that is affecting all of us.
Right.
And we must deal with it. The vice is enormous.
It is.
As we speak.
I completely and truly agree. And it behooves all of us in whatever little capacity or big capacity we have to start speaking about it, because there's so much shame that surrounds violence, especially for the victim. Victims, once it has been done to them, there is shame that surrounds them, and that shame keeps them from speaking up, whether it's especially in cases of rape, and even with children, because they won't even know what it is that has happened to them. And so they continue, but it would take noticing physical discomfort to know that something is happening there. Breaking down that fear that comes from shame, from these actions, what can we do, in your opinion?
The only thing that can be done here is for women to be bold and break the silence, or the person who has been affected. Just be bold, break the silence, call the helpline, which is a toll-free, totally toll-free helpline.
Whether you're on a cell phone or a landline?
No, cell phone.
Right.
The reason we use cell phones is because, you know, sometimes with that stigma, and then with the fear, you want to go to the police, or you want to go to a gender violence recovery center, for example, the Nairobi Women's Gender Violence Recovery Center, or any other government hospital. And I'm glad we are now partnering with the State Department of Gender, which makes this a lot easier, actually under the Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs. We are partners, and therefore, supporting these survivors, it has become a little easier, because they'll go to any government hospital and they are supported. So the reason we use mobiles is because we want to walk survivors through and through. From the time it happened, they'll call the helpline, 1195. We give them very brief counseling services.
And that's a 24-hour hotline?
It's a 24-hour. Okay. We have more than 20 telecounselors on standby. So when they call, with that brief telecounseling services, then we are referring them to other service providers. If it is an absolute emergency that warrants rescue, then we are again coordinating the rescue mission. Make sure that this survivor gets to hospital immediately. We have partners like the Kenyan Red Cross, we have the MSF France, MSF Belgium.
And this is for evacuation?
Yes, for evacuation.
Okay.
Then from there to hospitals. If it is a survivor that is able to make it to hospital, the nearest hospital could be a health center or a government facility, we'll just direct them there. So we send an SMS, you know. And that's why I said we pride in confidentiality, because our women have suffered because they run to a brother, a father, an uncle, and they're reporting these matters to them to say, I was raped.
And the comment that women will get, ulikuwa umevaa nini?
Yes. Ulikuwa umevaa nini?
Ulikuwa wapi?
Where were you?
Yeah.
And don't you know you are not supposed to be out there that late? Or you are just a friend of this very close relative who raped you? So that
in your
stigma.
Father's house.
Yes.
Yes.
Even fathers. Fathers are defiling their own children. We have those cases, Sheila, you won't believe this. Fathers are defiling their own children. Fathers, I have a clip of a little boy, about 3 years, you know. It explains how the father was actually sodomizing him, you know. These cases are really nagging.
So going back to the text message, because this is just heartbreaking to listen. So you can call the line and then
Yes.
a text message, it comes to you
Yes.
as
Now-
the person
no.
who's called?
Oh yeah, no, what happens is this. They call, they don't SMS most of
Right.
the times. Those who SMS, but not through 1195,
Yeah.
are those who may not be able to talk.
Okay.
You know, we have those people with challenges.
Right.
They can't hear,
So
so
that
they
it's
can
good
SMS.
for text
Yes,
as
there's
well,
another
right.
number where they SMS an ordinary number. Yeah, so with that SMS or with that call coming through, then we are walking the survivor. Every step they go, we are walking with them. From ambulance, as I said,
Yeah.
to that medical facility, to if they're admitted again, we will get there to again help.
And help them from the
Yes, if they were not able to go to the police, we will talk to the police
Right.
to go and see them from their hospital beds.
Okay, here's
Okay.
my question. 3-year-old boy has gone through all this. The 3-year-old doesn't know how to call the number.
Yeah, the mother will.
As a neighbor, if I am a neighbor and I know that something terrible is happening, have I got the right to call?
Yes.
Because many times people say, "Iyo sio shughuli yako, why are you in my business?"
Let me tell you, this is our business, all of us. We are in it because you don't know. That neighbor may not know when their child will be attacked. And so we're saying the 1195 number is bringing us all together to work as a frontier team to make sure that we end GBV, gender-based violence, on all of us, because we are all violated in one way or the other, at the place of work, Sheila, in homes.
In
And
schools.
yes, in schools. In fact, let me tell you, and I'm glad you've mentioned schools. I'll come to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying when you call us and we are sending you an SMS to tell you where to go. First of all, you're telling us the nearest setup or rather facility. If it is the police, if it is a medical facility, we're telling you just rush there. Or we are supporting you to get to that facility. Then we are sending you an SMS from that number you called us from. Addressed to that facility, if it is to the police, if it is to a medical facility, if it is to a safe place. Because if this child has been defiled within that
He
home,
can't stay there.
yeah, we don't want this kid to stay there.
Yeah.
So we organize to make sure that they're going to a safe place. And
Right.
as you know, in this country, we don't have safe homes, especially for women. Children, yes, in a very small way.
Yes, but for women.
For
and
women,
also for
we
men.
don't have. So the safest place in this case is to ask them to go to the police station at the police gender desk.
And so the police are also working with you. They're working in tandem with
Yes.
the 1195
Yes,
department to say, okay, if we get a call or we get a text message or someone comes to us, they are aware of what the next steps to take are.
They are very much aware, and I will tell you, our police service today, the Kenya Police Service, has improved a great deal. I am very happy. Sometimes we go to places where there's no enough security. They'll always escort us. If it is a rescue that warrants that we must go with some security, we must be protected.
Yeah.
So we call them very quickly. And then we connect sometimes the survivor
Yeah.
to their hotline, which is 112, and it works magic. Yeah?
But Phanis,
Yeah.
I'd like us to talk about men
Yes.
and violence, because I think far more men are subjected to violence than will care to speak about it.
True.
In fact, not too long ago, when we put the concept of men being raped, men being attacked, men getting beaten,
Yeah.
it's men who were laughing about that and saying,
Yeah.
no,
Yes.
that can't happen. How?
You know, our men, the way they've been socialized right from childhood,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to talk about problems. You're a man. So they grow with that in them. So when these three women are getting to gang rape this man, and it has happened, I'm giving you
Facts,
you know,
truth.
things
This is
we've
not a story.
handled
It's
through
true
1195.
cases. Yes.
You know, this man will not talk about it, but we end up taking him to hospital. Yeah? He's beaten at home. He'll go to work, you know, feeling like a strong, real man, but he has been battered. He has you know,
bruises and
scratches,
teeth marks.
bruises
I've seen
everywhere.
those. Yeah.
Instead of saying I was beaten up, bwana, nilikuwa kwa bedroom tu nikaanguka. Sasa can that bed really give you all those...
Scratch your ears and teeth marks.
Yes,
literally
everywhere.
teeth marks.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is this: men are suffering in silence. In fact, more than women. But because of that ego in them,
Yeah.
they don't want to blow it out. They don't want to say, my wife beat me up. But I'm happy others have started talking.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
They're
all
talking.
about talking and
Yes.
just sharing and being honest, because
Yes.
you can't change something if you ignore it
Yes.
and live in denial.
Yes, and the worst violence on men is where they come home and just, you know, the abusive words. That is psychological torture on a man. Yeah, but they keep quiet, and the only thing
So
they can do is
they
to
endure-
walk out and get to another
another
woman and
place.
say, I'll go where peace is. There's no
Right.
peace over there, you know?
And
So-
you're carrying your trauma there. So
Exactly.
if it was being done to you, then maybe you will be the person causing it in the new homestead.
Exactly.
Because psychology is also quite intense. However, I'd like to talk a little bit more about early childhood marriage
Oh, yes.
and FGM. And is there any correlation? Is there anything 1195 is doing
Yes.
about that? If I live somewhere and I think a 14-year-old is living in a house with a 70-year-old man, can I call that helpline?
You
Will
have
it
to.
help that young girl?
Yes, yes. During the International Women's Day, the government of Kenya and UN launched a joint GBV program in this country,
Right.
meaning there's a lot of seriousness to also protect our girls against early marriage. The early marriage campaign was also launched, which means girls are not supposed to be forced to be married that early. Okay? And what is prompting this is also the issue of FGM. Because if you force a girl to undergo FGM at that tender age, 10 years old, it is confirmed that she is now ready to be married. She is some mother. So what we are saying is, again, this is a vice that is quite rampant in this country, and we must end it. And the only way to end it is by reporting those who are doing it. I was watching a clip the other day, and I saw one of the circumcisers throwing the blade and saying, I will not do it again. This was launched in Kajiado, again, the campaign against FGM on girls, and I saw women, you know, again, abandoning their activities,
Right.
you know, subjecting girls to a cut. And I think we are headed in the right direction, but we need to do more. We need to do more. We need to publicize the hotline, 1195. If 1-2 people are punished for subjecting girls to FGM, then we know we're on the right path of ending FGM on our girls and early marriage.
Speak
Yes.
up, speak up.
Yes.
Anything that goes against the basic rights of life and freedom for men, women, children, that is what 1195 is about.
Absolutely, and we have the hashtag, the Jitokeze hashtag. It has been
Yes.
running for a long time, since last year, I think October, Jitokeze, and thanks to our PS,
Yes,
the
yes.
State Department of Gender. Yes, Jitokeze 1195. I would like to add Jitokeze, ongea kuhusu GBV,
Yeah.
piga 1195.
Indeed.
Kujitokeza tu ni kupiga simu.
Nipiga
Yeah,
simu.
yes.
Usinyamaze alafu kesho
Yes.
ndio unaambia wenye habari, sasa tulikuwa tukisikia wakipigana kila siku and then something terrible has
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
Speak up now. Don't be an interview about what was.
Yes.
Be a phone call about what is.
Absolutely. I think we are good to go to end
Right.
GBV in this country. When we introduced the hotline, 1195, it was way back in 2007, 8, where I interacted with most women in the country.
Yeah.
You know, those who suffered violence then, and they were in camps. I stayed in camps for 3 years, and thanks to Kenya Red Cross, they allowed me to go with my ambulance, but using the emblem because that was the only where you could,
that you could reach
access
them. Yes.
IDPs. So women gave horrifying stories as to how they were raped before their husbands beaten up, their children sodomized, boys, girls were also defiled before their parents. And the only cry from them was, if only we had an independent number where we could channel our issues, report what was happening to us, we could have been helped perhaps.
Right.
Because some were accessing GBV services when it was just too late.
Too late.
Yes.
And now those services are here.
Yes.
We are so grateful and so happy that you could make the time to sit with us today. We look forward, our doors will always remain open. When you need to talk, Phanis, we're right here. Send us a call, call us, just as we'll be calling you, and we'll definitely live out loud with you. We're going to put those contacts on our social media sites. Any last words for the public as they view this conversation? What would you like to say?
Well, all I can say is that Kenyans, if we can all just join hands and say no, and a big no to sexual and gender-based violence. It should be a thing of the past. People should not be rushing children to hospital to say they've been defiled. Let them be treated for malaria or something else.
Right.
But defilement, honestly, no.
Let's say no, let's stand up, and remember the 1195 hotline.
Yes.
It's there for you. We are going to post that number on all of my social media sites, and we will recommend that as soon as you pick up that number, share it on your personal social media sites as well. Help is at hand. Say no and end gender-based violence. Thank you for watching. We are at Westwood Hotel. In all things that you do, remember to live out loud.